Neglected No More, the urgent need to improve the lives of Canada's elders in the wake of a pandemic, written by André Picard and published by Random House Canada.
I'm André Picard. I'm the health columnist at the Globe and Mail, and I'm the author of Neglected No More, the urgent need to improve the lives of Canada's elders. Well, we were immersed in COVID pretty early. I've been all COVID all the time for a couple of years, but it became really evident early in the pandemic that certain groups were going to be hurt really hard, and one of them was elders. There was thousands of deaths early in the pandemic of older people, and to me it was just a reason to wade into this very long-term issue of the neglect of elders, how we don't treat them well, we take them for granted. The long-term care system particularly is horrible. Home care is underfunded. We don't have supportive housing. So it's just an excuse to get into this stuff that I've been writing about for 30, 35 years. To this day, I hear people tell me, they were old, they were going to die anyhow. And that's patently untrue. We do have a high death rate in nursing homes. It's about 1% per month. But during COVID, the death rate was 10, 20. There are homes that had 50% death rate within weeks. This was really a slaughter that happened, and it happened because we just sat on our hands and we didn't protect people. Well, in Canada, there's one thing we do better than any country in the world, and it's study the failings of our healthcare system. There have been, I say in the book, about 150 studies of how to fix Medicare. Every one of them talks about elder care. A healthcare system is really for older people who get sick and need care as they age. That's normal. So we don't need any more studies. We know everything. We know every problem. We know every solution in great detail. Every one of the solutions has been implemented, usually in a pilot project. Canada is the land of pilot projects, but we just never scale up the things we do well. It's so frustrating to know that the solution is right at our fingertips. It doesn't cost a lot of money. We don't need to reinvent the wheel every day. We just need to do the stuff that's already working. The most surprising thing about the book for many people is when I talk about the history, that the history of long-term care has nothing to do with healthcare. It came up through the penal system. So it was a way of dealing with what do you do with the indigent, with old people who don't have any money, and they stuck them in these institutions. They made them work for their keep, for their gruel, quite literally. And what people don't realize is we had that system in Canada for couple of hundred years, and we didn't get rid of it until the early 1960s. Every one of us, if you do a poll, and there have been many polls on this, 90% of Canadians say, I never want to live in a long-term care home. I want to stay in the community. That's a realistic goal for most people until maybe the final months of their life. That's what we should do. Every public policy we do should be about keeping elders in the community like everyone else. Don't set them aside. Don't practice what I call in the book elder apartheid, which is what we do. We marginalize people. We take them for granted. We start treating them like widgets instead of people. That has to stop. The book is not strictly about long-term care. It's about the continuum of care. So the solution is not to put everyone in an institution. It's to have more and better home care, and it's to have a lot of community support. We should treat everyone the way we want our grandmothers and our mothers to be treated, with dignity, with respect, and with caring. And that is none of that exists in our system today.
Hello, my name is Pierre Sarliev, and I am a second-year Master of Public Policy student at the Monk School. I read André Picard's book, Neglected No More, with great interest and found his analysis of Canadian society's treatment of its seniors frightening and appalling. I would like to ask André if he could pinpoint the fundamental reasons why Canada did not take into account decades of demographic forecasting and policy reports, 150 of them highlighting our ineptitude with regards to senior care.
Merci Pierre pour la question. Thank you very much for that really important question. You're asking, why didn't we heed demographics, and why do we not pay attention to all these reports that we commission? And I think the simple answer is that there's no accountability mechanism in our public policy. We just make these reports to fluff off important things that are going on, and then we never follow up on them except a little bit of cherry picking. So we need more accountability. We need politicians to make promises, and we need a mechanism to keep them to those promises rather than always just doing more inquiries. So my hope with what happened in elder care is let's not do another report. Let's take all the information, the recommendations we've had in the past, and let's finally act on them. That's what the public needs. Well, as a journalist, you really depend on people who tell their stories. And in this book in particular, I depended on people who were in times of crisis. Their parents were dying, they were scrambling to find care, and they took time to tell their stories because they wanted to do better for others. So to me, I really have to thank the people who participated, who give of their time and put their hearts out there and their souls to try and help others. And of course, I have a publisher, I have a publicist, I have an agent. All of them worked really hard to make this come together. This book was done very quickly. The publisher in particular made a decision this book was going to be accessible. So it's less than $20, it's less than 200 pages. It's for the demographic. It's for older people who don't have a lot of time, for caregivers. And finally, of course, I have to thank the Donner Prize. This is such a great honor to be nominated, to be among these great nominees. And public policy is really important. It affects our lives every single day. It's boring to talk about, but I've been a public policy writer for 40 years, and I know just how important it is to our everyday lives, and nowhere more so than in the elder care field.
Neglected No More: The Urgent Need to Improve the Lives of Canada's Elders in the Wake of a Pandemic, written by André Picard and published by Random House Canada.